Hi guys, welcome to another video of Shutter Voyages. So today we have the very much awaited phone. Basically, there are two big events in tech world. One is a Samsung launch event and the other is the Apple launch event. As you can guess by now, this is the S23 Ultra. I went with a little different choice of color this time. This is basically the cream color and not the usual, the new color that Samsung announces that I go usually with, which is green this year as last year also. But cream is my choice of color because this, I don't know, when I first saw in the store, it was very different and appealing. I'm using the purple color in 14 Pro Max, so I wanted to go with a little subtle color on this. So before moving on, we are doing a very cool unboxing and review of this product. This is the BenQ Idea Cam. This is actually a very cool product from BenQ that we received to review. So this webcam has some really cool features for almost everyone. If you are a professional, if you are a content creator like us, I do wanted to use a webcam when I am streaming my games, etc. So for this, I will be using this. So let's dive in and see what all we get. First up, the Idea Cam S1 Pro boasts an impressive 8 megapixel Sony CMOS sensor, ensuring crystal clear image quality for your videos. And inside the box, you get the webcam itself with controlling puck and a USB receiver along with magnifying lens, webcam cover. So pretty much everything is inside the box. The Idea Cam S1 Pro offers a flexible handheld mode, allowing you to capture videos from various angles and perspectives during a Zoom meeting or conference. Now, next feature is so awesome. It comes with a magnifying lens, and boy, it's so awesome. And now just attach this magnifying lens to the webcam and it's magnetic. The results are so clear and crystal, which just shocked me. And another feature that I like the most about it, it doubles as a document scanner. Simply place your document under the camera and scan it through the Inspire app in any browser and share it instantly. And here's the cherry on top. The Idea Cam S1 Pro comes with the Inspire control puck. With this handy remote control, you can easily resize, refocus, mute, freeze the image without ever touching your computer. So whether you are a content creator, educator or professional, the BenQ Idea Cam S1 Pro has got you covered. Its 8 megapixel Sony CMOS sensor, flexible handheld mode, macro lens, document scanning capability and Inspire control puck ensures a seamless and high quality user experience. Let's start with the design first. Before I go deep into the video, I'd like to add one thing is that I love this device. So after Note 10, this is the first phone other than an iPhone that has tempted me to keep it as a primary device. And that is, very good on Samsung's part. Everything about this phone speaks premium, from the design to the software. Battery, exceptional battery. The performance, very good performance. We'll deep dive into every one of them. Camera is still something that I think iPhone is better at, but other than that, everything about this phone is good. Now let's go first into design. Usually the premium phone that Samsung used to make for past 5-6 years used to have a curved display. This one still has a curved display, but the curves they have reduced. So they have significantly reduced the curve on the sides and made the sides also boxier. That's added to better grip in the hand, and honestly, I love this design. It's not as sharp as the iPhone. Like the iPhones have completely sharp sides. This has a little curve on both sides, which adds more to the grip, and this being a very huge phone, it honestly makes it very easy to handle and hold and do things in day-to-day life. So overall, this might look like a very subtle design change from Samsung's part, but I think they have done a great job in coming up with the design and making it more mature and more refined year on year. Moving on to the performance of this phone, honestly, this is the first time I am into tech, gadgets, etc. for like past 7 or 8 years, and this is the first time in my life that I have seen an Android phone come near to the single core performance of an iPhone, an A series processor. The A16 Bionic on the 14 Pro Max has a single core score of somewhere around 1870 or 1860. This one also comes very close in single core. It's 1800 plus for both the phones. On multi-core score, the iPhone 14 Pro Max still has a lead of around 1000 points, and this has around 4700, that has around 5700. But why I'm stressing on the single core, because most of the apps you use is going to be run on the single core, and that's why the single core performance matters a lot. As we are talking about performance, I'd also like to add that this phone solves the heating issue of the S22 Ultra, because Snapdragon has done some wizardry with the phone, with the processor actually, that has significantly reduced the heat production from the processors. And incredibly increased the performance. It's stable, it produces constantly good performance, and when you are using the phone, you won't feel it getting that much hot. In fact, when I'm using 5G on Jio phone, that is a standalone 5G available in India, on iPhone, my back gets really hot if I'm using it in the daytime. On this one, I barely have noticed it getting hot. So that is something that I think is very great on Samsung's and Snapdragon's part. So kudos to Snapdragon and Samsung. One thing I'd like to add specifically is Samsung has partnered with Snapdragon. So this is basically a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy, which means I think one of the core is a little higher clock speed than the other one, the normal Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So that I think adds a little bit more to the performance of the device. And overall, performance-wise, I think this is still the start of the year. We will have lots of devices whole year, but they are mostly going to use either 8 Gen 2 or 8 Gen 2 Plus, which will come in the later part. But this is the best Android phone right now that you can get. I have tested the OnePlus also. It has its drawbacks. It has its ups and downs. I have tested the Pixel 7 Pro. Pixel is yet to come with the 8, which will be, I think, by the end of this year. But right now, this is the best Android phone you can get, performance-wise speaking. Moving on to the display part. Display, as usual, it's a Samsung device. And I think I've used this line in almost every Samsung video that I have ever made, that Samsung makes the best display, period. But I tested it along the 14 Pro Max, and this has a max brightness of 1750 nits. And the 14 Pro Max has a max brightness of 2000 nits. You won't see the difference in day-to-day life, because in day-to-day life, it will be mostly same. You will see the difference when you are using it in harsh sunlight. Like let's say if I am using under direct sunlight, this might cause some issues at times when you will have to either tilt the phone or change the angle and you won't be able to see. On the iPhone, it is usually brighter than what I require at the moment from the display. One good thing about the brightness part on Samsung is that it does get very dim at the night. So when you are using it at night without any lights or anything, this does get very low compared to the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is way better for your eyes, and it helps to use the phone at night basically. Another surprising thing for me is the battery. Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is a very optimized processor. They have done a fantastic job in optimizing the processor. From, performance to efficiency, they have managed it well. I think it's a 6 or 8 core setup. I think 4 are efficiency cores, 3 is performance core, and 1 is, I think, a high performance core, which is somewhere around 3.19 gigahertz. I'm not sure about the configuration, but as far as I remember, it's probably a 8 core processor. But whatever they have done, it's a great battery life also on this device. I'm yet to use it for a whole day, like for a whole charge cycle. But in my 24 hour of trying the phone and using it, but I have yet to face any heating issues either. I do face heating issues with my 14 Pro Max, which is surprising because as far as I remember, they are also using a Snapdragon, I think X76 or some modem, and Samsung is also using the Snapdragon modem, but that is some issue that I faced with iPhones. Kudos to Samsung again here for completely solving that issue. No heating issue, no battery life issues, because when phone heats up, it will drain more battery. On the camera part, this comes with similar setup as the S23 Ultra. They have improved a lot in the numbers. It's a 200 megapixel sensor. The telephoto lens and the ultra wide lenses are also very good. I will still give the lead to the iPhone. We are doing actually an extensive camera test on the Samsung and the iPhone next to each other. But in my initial impressions, they have done a good job in improving it. They have done something with the stabilization also. I'll add a clip where I am in a auto. That's a night clip, but you can still see how stabilized the video is. So that is something that Samsung has done a good job with. I am yet to do extensive testing on the camera of this device to give you a definitive result of what the device can do and what it is capable of. But in my initial impressions, it's a very good device. You won't feel any issues, and you won't feel any lacking performance also from the camera from this device. Still a step behind iPhone, but it compensates for that in a lot of other ways. Pixel also, I think, is better than Samsung because it's a more reliable camera and they use AI in a very good way. Like the compute photography that they use, they are using it in a very better way than compared to Samsung. So that is something that I think Samsung needs to improve. Overall, this is a 1,25,000 rupees phone. You do get offers and benefits and all that from Samsung, but this is a great device. I don't think you need to look twice. This is very rare that I straight away tell you to, if you are looking for a phone in this price segment, you can buy this device. It's that good. With the condition that you don't want an iPhone. If you want an iPhone, it's a completely different segment, completely different comparison. But if you want to get an Android phone and budget is no bar, you want the best performance, best device, I think this beats it all. Fold is something that can come close, but not because of the design or anything. It's just because that it gives you a bigger screen. But Fold has its drawbacks. So if you are in the market looking for a device in this price segment, I think this is the best device that you can get, at least as of now. Samsung has done a great job. Kudos to them. So thank you so much for watching the video, guys. Let me know in the comments below if you want us to make any specific video on the S23 Ultra, but we are coming up with the camera performance of the iPhone 14 Pro Max, long-term review of the S23 Ultra, and a lot of fun videos. Thank you so much for watching.